Welcome back, everyone, to another short sermon. And today I'm going to talk about the fruit of the Spirit, part 2. And for all of these series of sermons, I would just quote from the book of Galatians, chapter 5, verses 22 and 23, because this is where we get the fruit of the Spirit from. Is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law. Now, we're going to talk about the second fruit of the Spirit, and that is joy. Now remember, love is the first fruit of the Spirit, because it is the most important, but it comes before joy. Joy comes immediately after love, and so you need to have love before you can have joy, which immediately follows after that. Alright? Now, I want to share some verses with you about this topic. For them. First of all, turn to the book of Nehemiah, chapter 8, verse 10. Because the joy of the Lord is your stronghold. That is the Harmless translation. But it can also say, the joy of the Lord is your strength. Alright? Now turn to the book of Romans, chapter 15, verse 13. And it says here, now may the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace as you believe in him, so that you may overflow with hope by the power of the Holy Spirit. There it is again, the Spirit. Because that is the only way you're going to find true joy. Now, turn to the book of Psalms, chapter 16, verse 11. And I just read this verse yesterday. And it says here, well, this is the last verse. You reveal the path of life to me. In your presence is abundant joy. In your right hand are eternal pleasures. It sounds to me like it is not impossible to have eternal joy. You cannot find it in the world, but there is a way. There's only one way, and that is by the power of the Holy Spirit. Now, turn to the book of Philippians, chapter 4, verse 4. And it says here, rejoice in the Lord always, and I will say it again, rejoice. Now, it says that we have to rejoice the Lord constantly, not just once, but we can also do it again. Now, talking about the fruit, I would match joy to be a pineapple. And the reason for this is because a pineapple is a tall fruit. It stands out, and it is yellow in color on the inside, like sunshine. Now it is pointy and spiky on the outside. Well, first of all, God did not create pineapples to have spikes all over them. The enemy came and created weeds on the ground and made some of the fruit spikes on them. One of them is the pineapple. So I guess true joy is hard to find, and it's covered with the spikes of this world. I do not know any better word to say it than spikes. So you cannot touch a pineapple. Then he goes, ouch. You're actually going to have to cut the pineapple open to actually get the fruit out of it. And so true joy has been corrupted, and it has been surrounded by the ways of this world. It chokes it out of them. The world will choke your joy out of you. I have tried that before. But how do you get it back? Well, that is what this sermon is all about. I'm going to try to tell you how to get your happiness back. First of all, happiness is not the same thing as joy. Happiness does not last. You can be happy, but not be joyful. You can also be joyful and not happy. Happiness only comes when everything is going good. If you win in a game, you are happy. If you get some candy, you are happy. If you succeed in a project, you are happy. However, what if things are not going good? What if you're going through a tough time? And if you're still happy in the tough times, that is what joy is. And at last is, read the Bible. Because the Bible is the most important thing in this whole world. What about the Holy Spirit? How are you going to find out about the Spirit if you do not read the Bible? You see, this is our basic instructions before leaving Earth. Some young man ask, what is the meaning of life? Everyone asks us that question sometime in their lifetime. I asked that question when I was 12. The meaning of life is to serve God and to magnify His name. It is not to make yourself happier. That is not the meaning of life. I mean, if that was the case, God would have not even put you on earth. He put you on this earth to make the world a better place around you. Not the other way around. Now, if you want a happiness that lasts, help someone else. You gotta start serving other people, because that's the only thing that's gonna make you happy. Other things that try to make people happy, some of the most common things that people look for to make themselves happy are having a week off, going on a vacation, going fishing, something like that. Marriage, that happiness can last for a month. And to get rich and famous and earn wealth and earn a fortune, that happiness can last for a year. But remember, after that 1 year, it's gone. That happiness fades away. Now, the accomplishments are still there, but the happiness fades away. So how do you get it back? Well, you're not going to get it back. Before I end this short sermon, I would like to mention something else. You will never have too much joy. You will never have too much love. You will never have too much of the Holy Spirit. You will never have too much of what you know about the Bible, because you're just going to keep learning. So do not be afraid that you will have too much of anything. Now, too much of anything physical is too much. But with the spiritual, it's not. It is just the opposite. And you're never going to be satisfied. Believe me. If you try to make yourself happy, you're going to end up feeling less happy because you're going to be stressed about it. And I have tried that before. So never think that you are satisfied. You will never have enough of what God has in store. You will always desire more. And there is an unlimited supply of the supernatural. There is a limited supply of the physical, but not the supernatural. So you can always never be afraid to ask for more. Alright? Only through the presence of God are you going to be satisfied. But just because you're satisfied does not mean that you cannot have more. Alright? The worldly people wake up feeling dissatisfied, and they try to consume as much as they can to make themselves satisfied. They end up falling asleep because of everything they just consumed, and then they wake up the next day and they're still not satisfied. However, through the presence of God in the Spirit, can one be satisfied? But when you immediately start looking at the world, your happiness is going to go down. Well, I hope this short sermon has helped you in the question of how can you be happy? Because, really, I do not have the answer to that question either. And I'm going through the same thing also. But come back next time for another short sermon as I talk about the third fruit. But in the meantime, see you later. And remember to say Happy Mother's Day. You know, Mother Earth. Because the earth is our mother, God is our father.